Hey, by the way, tonight's game, New York wins that outright.
You know he's on top. Million subs, he never gonna flop. Out of Chicago, where the streets don't sleep. Betting on games, making cash real deep. Crystal ball for sports, he knows the lines. He's a sports aficionado, the money he finds. From football to basketball, he's always on point. Predicting winners never disappoints. He's got that hustle, that Chicago vibe. Making moves on the streets, cash on the side. With E, you know it's always a bet. He's the king of the game, never forget.
Hello and welcome to the Etoft21sports Show for January 27th. How is everyone doing? My name is Erik. I'm the man behind Etoft21sports. Absolutely loaded episode for you today. My boy Gino has his horse racing bet of the day from Gulfstream Park, and my boy Bryce from the I Need It Sports Pod is this week's special guest. We're going to talk some college basketball a little bit today, and we're going to share some bets for the NFL. But before we get into all that, I'd like to say thank you to the sponsor of the show, Prop X. Guys, we're not using Prop X. Go to the App Store, download Prop X, use promo code ETOFT21. That way they know old Uncle Rico sent you. Now let's see what my boy Gino has a cooking for us with his horse racing bet of the day over at Gulfstream Park.
The Grade 3 Holy Bull is the feature this weekend at Gulfstream Park. They had a big weekend last weekend. They've got another one this weekend. On Saturday is the big day. And we're going to go to race number 12 for the Grade 3 Holy Bull. There will be a couple scratches in here. Just keep that in mind. You're going to have horses like Butane, who won't be running in this one, and then also Game For It won't be in here. The horse who I really like is Bravaro, who I think is going to get a really nice trip coming from off the pace. This horse faced New York breds, couple different races, and the races have come back strong so far. Horses like 4th and 1, we've seen return and win. Bravaro, and just looking at the way the race sets up, I think we'll be sitting kind of like where he was last time out, just sitting a couple lengths off, visually impressive, has no problem getting the distance in here with that mile win last time out. Race 12, we're going to head to Gulfstream Park on Saturday. It is Bravaro. That is the play for us. Remember, anytime you're playing the races, you head on over here and you can take a look at the past performances, take a look at the way the different projectors have them set up. We're playing the 8, race 12, Saturday, Gulfstream Park.
Make sure to give my boy Gino a follow at It's Me Gino B. Now, real quick, I got to give Gino a shout out. Gino came on my podcast, gave out at the Pegasus in the Filly and Mare, gave out Destinio Del Ora, went off at 13-1, fucking hit the wire. So make sure to give him a follow, giving out free plays all the time. Now let's welcome this week's special guest, my boy from down under in H-Town, Bryce from the I Need It Sports Pod. Bryce, how are you doing today, my man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Man, coming to the end of the NFL season. Glad to be back on the pod. Finish it up, man. Super Bowl 61. Right on the horizon. Not who I expected would be here when we started off the season, but here we are. Here we are, man. I know both of our teams bowed out before the real dance even started, so wasn't the best of football years, but enjoyed it nonetheless.
Disappointing my Lions, but I'll be honest, full transparency, I bet them not to make the playoffs. I thought it was gonna be a down year for them. So was able to get that bet home. Looking forward to the offseason. I will say this. I will probably bet your guys to make to win it next year. I mean, as a typical bounce back. Your boy Matt Nagy's no longer there, so that's a plus. That's definitely a plus. But
that was the best news could have got a couple weeks ago. I don't know about. I'm not mad at bringing EB back. I'm not gonna sit up here and say like, oh, this changes everything. But I do like that they kind of got rid of the rest of the offense staff. Wide receiver coach gone, running back. We needed a complete overhaul there. Bring in some new, fresh guys. I know we brought in the wide receiver coach that was back with the Patriots during their dynasty run or the second half of that. So should be interesting. Just hopefully Patrick rehab goes well with this ACL. We'll see. We got a top 10 draft pick for the first time in I think probably a little over a decade now. So hopefully we hit with that pick there and just move forward from this disaster of a season. So
Do you want them to go defense or offensive line? What are you thinking?
I feel like depending on who's on the board, we have to go defensive line, if nothing else, because Chris Jones is, I think, entering his age 33 or 34 season. And obviously he's looked to have slowed down a bit. That defensive line was absolutely atrocious this year. Like, that's got to be problem number one to try to solve. So I don't know if Bain or David Bailey is going to be on the board by pick 9. I don't know if maybe we potentially look to trade up using pick 9, but I would love to get one of them just to add to our defensive line. If both of them are gone, then it becomes, okay, we probably need to go wide receiver, because at this point, I don't know if we're going to even have a wide receiver to be on the field next year, because none of our wide receivers seem to be able to stay out of trouble during the offseason. So,
yeah, I mean, Rice is just one mistake after another, man. I mean, just sad what's going on with him. Interesting games for the divisional round. I was entertained. I was on the edge of my seat. Interested to hear your thoughts. What was your big takeaway from the divisional round, my friend?
So you want me to say division or conference round?
Conference round. Excuse me.
Okay,
My fault. Guys, for those who don't know, I was texting Bryce. StreamYard has been an utter bitch today. I have been going back and forth with StreamYard. There's like 50 things lined up on the YouTube channel about this. Hopefully you guys found the right one. I apologize, but StreamYard was being a bitch. I'm a little off my game. Anyway, championship game recap, my friend.
Yeah. Well, for one, always love to see the Broncos lose as a Chiefs fan. That was hate watch number one. I kind of hate that it had to be to the Patriots, though. Seems like if there's any fan base that has gotten enough glory, it would be the Boston fan base, but Patriots are back in the Super Bowl yet again. But my biggest takeaway is, man, does the NFC West have the 3 best NFL head coaches in McVay, Shanahan, and now Mike McDonald? If you look at the past, I want to say, take it back to 2018 when the Rams played the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Besides the 2 times the Eagles have made it, it's been an NFC West team every single year. It's the 49ers, Rams, and now the Seahawks have entered the fold. Mike McDonald, I know Baltimore fans got to be pretty pissed because he was in their building that year. They had the number 1 defense back in 23, and the Chiefs beat them. A lot of them were calling, hey, let's fire Harbaugh now. Let's just move McDonald up. He's a defensive guru, young coach. Maybe he could be the guy to, get us over the hump with Lamar. They let him go out of that building, and 2 years in with Sam Darnold at that, led him to Super Bowl. Now McVay, him, Shanahan, all in division. Props to Shanahan. I know they got mollywopped by the Seahawks in the division round, but what they were able to do this year with the lack of talent they had and all the injuries, I feel like NFC West has a very good argument that, hey, we got the 3 best head coaches in all of football as of right now, if you were to have to call it. So,
Jesus. I did hear this, and I can say no chance. Josh Allen to the Rams. Did you guys hear that rumor? So that some guy put out that this is before they hired Brady. Obviously, them bringing Brady in doesn't mean this is going to happen, because you're not going to hire Brady unless Allen wants it. But the thing was, Stafford would retire. Then the Rams use those first-round picks they got from Atlanta, shift those over to get Josh Allen. Bills do a hard reset.
I haven't heard that one, but I've heard that same exact scenario, except for Joe Burrow. Go get him from Cincy.
Go to the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, how do you feel about the Joe Brady hire? Because I'm kind of in tune with Bill's Twitter just by the rivalry with the Chiefs, and a lot of their fans are actually against this hiring of Joe Brady. They think he's at fault for the offense this year, and I'm like, the dude he's the one who got Josh Allen as MVP last year. The offense this year, while it wasn't as explosive, they had the number 1 rusher in the league and Cook. Allen was still able to put up decent numbers with, the lack of weapons they have. There's not much the dude had to work with, and he still had it as a top 5 offense. I don't necessarily get the hate, but I will say he's probably got the hottest seat next year, because if the Bills, for whatever reason, I don't know, we were talking about on our pod last week, I think all the crying after the division round was kind of like worrisome. Like, you guys were that distraught. Like, that you lost a divisional round game for the 4th year in a row or something. If the Bills were to collapse next year and they don't make the playoffs for whatever reason, Joe Brady would be one and done. They would get rid of him because that would be another year wasted of Josh Allen, especially not making the playoffs. But I think it's a good hire. I think he's a good offensive-minded coach. I think they're trying to keep him in the building because he's been getting some interviews for the past couple years, and they were able to keep him this year as OC. And now get rid of McDermott, bring him in. Now you just got to make sure you nail the defensive coordinator hire, which I think they already hired someone, if I'm not mistaken, too. I might have missed it. I think it came in yesterday around like 2 or something, maybe. I'm blanking on who it was, but there was rumors that they were looking at somebody. Let's see.
Jim Lehard, leading candidate.
Yeah.
For the OC. So this is all right. So my theory is Allen realized he was at fault for losing the game, and he realized he cost McDermott his job. And that's why I got a little emotional up there.
Yeah.
That's my theory. Number 2, the thing that doesn't make sense to me is why didn't you just announce this right away? Boom, we're getting rid of him. We're hiring Brady. I don't know if there's rules. You got to interview so many candidates or whatever, but it just seemed weird to me how that all went down. If you had this guy in the building, wouldn't you just immediately just promote him? You know what I'm saying? Instead of like interviewing Brian DeBull, it just doesn't, that thing didn't make sense to me. Lastly, people forget that the Bills were the Jets before McDermott got there. They were really, really bad.
Awful.
And the fact that the owner, who's spacing on his name, went over there.
Oh, Pagula?
Yeah, they sandbagged Keon Coleman, and then the clip was released saying how the GM wanted him.
Yeah.
Like
that was what I was going to add when you were talking about. It was a little confusing why they waited to announce Brady as head coach. And it's like, mix in the fact that they did that press conference just last week, throwing Coleman on the bus. And they were trying to say the coaching staff is the one who went. I'm like, I don't know what's going on in that organization, but I think that loss really did break them after all of these years of, coming up just short. But at least you could say like, oh, we lost to the Chiefs, who go on to the Super Bowl and win it all these years. We lost to the dynasty. Losing to Bo Nix and the Broncos when it's like you don't have any of your other biggest rivals standing in the way. Josh Allen is prime. I think that really broke them. Like you said, Josh Allen, I'm thinking maybe they knew inside the building. I don't know if they would ever say it, but I feel like there was a pretty good understanding like, hey, McDermott, you don't get to the Super Bowl this year, you're going to be fired. And I think they knew that going in the game, and I think that added to Josh Allen being so emotional at the post-game presser because he knew, once that game was over with and they lost, I think he knew for sure that it was all wraps for McDermott.
Hope Nation 101 chimes in, go Pats. My thing with Brady, David, who does, he's on my podcast every week. We do a baseball show every week. He's a huge Bills fan. Like literally, he went to the game. He lives in Denver. He was dapped out in Bills gear and everything. And I'm just every single Bills game, I'm texting him, what the fuck is Brady doing here? What the fuck is Brady doing here? What the fuck is Brady doing here? I don't understand. Sometimes Brady gets so caught up in just doing the same thing repetitively after. He's not taking advantage of some matchups that are there. Now, we've seen before these guys have gone up to being the head coach and they can't manage the whole room. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things, Drake May is the GOAT. You know what I mean? It's just, can he manage the whole room? We've seen it before where these guys have gone up there. They haven't been able to manage the whole room. But I agree with you. If he does bad this year, it's one and done. Another coaching hire before you get all this that really shocked me is all these Steeler fans were like, oh, blah, blah, blah. We need someone new. We need some young blood. You hire Mike McCarthy. You know what I mean? Really? I think that is going to be an utter train wreck. And then if they bring back Rodgers, that team is not making the playoffs. I was talking to someone today, and he was just like, look, he goes, I would rather sell off everything we can, get as many picks as we can, and just just complete hard reset. And I mean, look, like if you want to do that, that's fine. But Cam Hayward's great, but that contract, like, what are you going to get for him? Watt, what are you going to get for him?
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, what are you going to get for him? You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of look at the quote unquote assets you have, like exactly like what is your ROI? And the thing is like you guys are so used to being good, so used to like competing. I think it's going to be a huge step back, and it's going to be an eye-opening experience for the Steelers fans. And I was a little surprised Tomlin didn't put his name in. Like, why didn't Tomlin put his name in the hat for the Bills?
Well, I think because he stepped down, and I'm pretty sure. I think you were the one who actually told it to us. You hopped in the comment section a couple months ago when we were doing the pod. I think it was when the Steelers were on their losing streak, and there were the rumors swirling around that, you know, off the field issues with Tomlin getting involved with some girl and possible divorce. I think that's why he stepped down and not fired. So technically the Steelers still have his rights, and he can't come back and just coach for anybody. He has to sit out at least a year. Either that or Pittsburgh would have to trade him, and he'd have to be wanting to coach for. I think he's just taking this year off to deal with all the craziness he's got going on behind the scenes. So that's why Tomlin is done. But yeah, definitely didn't see that. I feel like this is akin to the Raiders last year going and hiring Pete Carroll. Like, this is only a move that's gonna make you go backwards, one, and two, just delay you even further from getting back to where you want to be. And if it's the, you know, any fan base in the NFL, I think it would be Pittsburgh fans that would be like, you know what, we'd actually be okay with a hard reset year if that means maybe 3 years down the line we'll be like true contenders again. Because this going 9-8, 10-7, wild card, you get smacked worse and worse every year. That's got to be tiring, because at that point, this isn't a participation trophy game. You're playing, you know, to win the Lombardi, and they're not doing that. They're not even advancing out of the wild card anymore for what I think this is like 5-6 years in a row now. So definitely needs some change. But yeah, McCarthy, I don't get it, and maybe you know better than I do, but I could have sworn part of the reason he was let go of in Green Bay was because him and Aaron Rodgers weren't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah.
And then he gets up there and the pressure's like, yeah, I would hope he would come back. I think he would. I'm like, I don't know if Rodgers, like, did anybody talk? I know it's not on the Steelers organization to talk to Rodgers, because Rodgers is, you know, either going to retire now or next year. But I don't think he was consulted for this hire, and I don't think that would make him want to come back either now that they've hired Mike McCarthy. So definitely a mind-boggling decision there from Pitt.
It's just weird. Like, it makes zero sense. But let's go ahead. Let's jump into some bets before we get into all of that. Let's take a gander back at how we did last week on the show. 4-2 last week, with Dave hitting Jarrett Stidham over 14.5 rushing yards, JSN over 6.5 receptions, and Puka Nacua over 110 receiving yards. Old Uncle Rico hit Kenneth Walker over 20.5 receiving yards, lost Hunter Henry over 40.5 receiving yards, and Evan Ingram over 19.5 receiving yards. For the show, we are 67, 56, and 3 in our bets. You know what? I was so caught up in talking that I didn't even give my takeaway, dude.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Because it was partially what I wanted to say too, but I was leaving.
So this is my takeaway. Okay. I have never been a Sean Payton fan. And when I say never, I mean never. And the AFC Championship game on Sunday showed exactly why. His coaching style consistently puts his teams out of title contention. When we look back at those Steelers teams, the last 3 years he had Breeze, those are loaded rosters, some of the best, if not the best teams in the league. They should have at least won one Super Bowl. They did it because of him. And on Sunday, the Broncos didn't make the Super Bowl because of Sean Payton. You can blame Stidham for the second half. You can blame the defense for not having a spy on Drake May. You can have the excuse of the blizzard. But there is zero reason the Broncos should not have won that game. They're up 7-0, driving Patriots territory, dominating the game, and you don't take the field goal to go up 10-0, make it a 2-score game. You've got one of the best defenses in football, maybe even the best defense in football. Scoreboard pressure when you're facing a young team, a young quarterback, in that type of environment is a real thing. Instead, you go for it. And you don't even sneak it. You have a 6'3" Jarrett Stidham. Sneak the goddamn ball, get the yard, keep it simple. Instead, you do some rollout to the short end of the field where the side was stacked. 0 sense. Then you look at the matchup stuff. The Patriots struggle the most against the tight ends. That's been the case all year. All year. Evan Ingram finishes with 3 targets, 2 receptions, 19 yards. 3rd and 8. Huge part of the game. You're drawing up isolation plays for little Jordan Humphrey. Literally, what the fuck are we doing here? And the bigger picture, people need to step back and realize windows close fast. We just watched the Lions 2 years ago have a trip to the Super Bowl in their back pocket and blow it because they refused to take points in the 4th quarter. The same thing happened here, was earlier on in the game. I think the Broncos blew their chance. I don't think they're going to be back in the spot anytime due. They're due for 1-score game regression. The Chargers will be better next year when they get a healthier offensive line. Your Chiefs will be better next year. Chances are Vance Joseph will probably get a head coaching job. He'll be gone. Mike Grable took the points in the 3rd quarter, I believe it was, kicked the field goal. They went up 3. They won the game. Sean Payton had a chance to take the 3. He didn't, and they lost. That's the difference. Windows closed. Broncos just watched theirs close. And the thing that pisses me off even more is there was a press release today saying that they let go offensive coordinator
Joe
Lombardi. Sean Payton's the motherfucker that calls everything. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, you're just scapegoating Lombardi, who's been with you forever. And this is what, like, such a bullshit move, dude. Like I was texting people. I was like, these games are why I cannot stand Sean Payton. And I literally cannot stand Sean Payton. He cost his team a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Inexcusable in my eyes. He's the most overrated coach in the game.
Oh no, I 100% agree. Cam can vouch. As soon as they went for it and didn't get it, I texted in the group chat. I was like, Denver just lost right there. They should have just taken the points. You have a backup quarterback. You have the top, or if not top, one of the best defenses in the league against an offense who's been honestly terrible this whole playoff run. They made it to the Super Bowl, yes, but that's been on New England's defense, not their offense. Drake May hasn't been good. You go up 10, you put all the pressure on the world on him. He's in a away environment, first away playoff game. He's going to start pressing a little bit even more than just being down 1 score. Just take the points because you don't know when you're going to get back to scoring position with a backup quarterback. Then here comes the blizzard halfway through the 3rd quarter. Then they want to start kicking the field goals in the blizzard, and now the kicker can't kick because it's a blizzard outside. I'm like, this is why I didn't understand when the Broncos first hired Sean Payton, and all the media members and all the fans were like, "Oh, Sean Payton's this, he's that, he's a great." I'm like, Sean Payton should have multiple Super Bowls. He wasted Drew Brees' career with plenty of great teams, and they never failed. They failed to even make it to the game. I'm like, what do y'all think he's gonna do now? Like, as an older, even more egotistical coach. And then I don't know if you've seen too with the presser, once they let go of Lombardi, they were asking if the quarterback coach, if Davis Webb were to leave and go to, I think they were saying if he were to take the Vegas job. And then Sean Payton says something along the lines of like, oh, it's going to be like hell for him. Like, it's going to be hard for him going over there because, they're going to be going up against us. And it's like, dude, like, what is your problem? He just can't ever get over his ego for anything. And again, it cost him.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, that game against the Saints had against the Rams, when the Rams went to face, I believe it was the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yep, 2018.
You have Michael Thomas, who was insane back then, Alvin Kamara, and you're running plays for your 4th wide receiver. What are we doing here? Literally, What are we doing there? Was it PI? Yeah, it probably was fucking PI. But you have Pete Kamara and Michael Thomas before he got hurt and decided he didn't want to play football anymore. And you're running it to your fourth string wide receiver. What are we doing here? Like literally, like you can't argue that they should have put it in their playmakers' hands. Let's go ahead. Let's talk some bets. Bryce has 2 college basketball bets and an NFL bet for the Super Bowl. I have 3 early NFL bets. What say you, my friend?
Yep, I'm rolling with the under in the Super Bowl. Again, Patriots have not been good on offense whatsoever this whole playoff run. I don't expect that to magically get better in the biggest game of the year, especially for a young quarterback in Drake May. They're one of the few teams in NFL history who's made it this far to a Super Bowl when each game the offense has scored under 16 points, which is absolutely crazy. Talk about Patriot way luck or whatever you want to call it. I think it's BS. If it wasn't for, CJ Stroud just deciding he wanted to handle the game, I feel like the Texans probably could have been in this spot. Would have been nice for the city of Houston. But of course, in Houston, they couldn't get it done. Seahawks been balling out. But I think said big game. Sam Darnold, obviously, he played well these playoffs. So he's kind of, got the monkey off his back and he could perform in big spots. But now this is the biggest one here. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had a turnover or 2 in this game, especially the way the Patriots defense has been playing. So I expect this one to be low scoring and grimy, and it's going to come down to probably a final possession. I think final score ends up for the winners 17-14, 21-17-ish in this one. I don't know who takes it. Honestly, the hater in me, I would hate to see the Patriots back on top after everything, but with the way their season has been going, they've had one of the easiest paths ever to get to this point. Had a extremely easy regular season. Someone posted earlier today, I think their schedule, 9 or 10 of their games, all the coaches have been fired now. This offseason of teams they played, then obviously this playoff run has been not tough at all. So wouldn't surprise me if the Patriots just lucked up and found a way to win this one again with the offense being pitiful as it's been. But my gut is telling me go Seahawks, but I'm going to just roll with the under for both these teams. I don't think either of these offenses will be able to do much against the defenses they're facing. So
someone posted this. Week 1, week 2, week 3, fired coach. Week 4, NFC South. Week 5, fired coach. Week 6, NFC South. Week 7, 8, 9, fired coach. Week 10, NFC South. Week 11, Jets. Week 12, Bengals. 13, 15, and 16, fired coach. Week 14 was their bye. Week 17, Jets. Week 18, fired coach.
It's insane.
I mean, that's just absurd. My bet, kind of on the same lines. I went Seahawks and Patriots under 22.5 for the first half. Going back to old reliable, this is a bet I love, and honestly, I'll just keep making it every single year. First half under in a title game. This year, it's 22.5. These games always start off tight. Teams are nervous, conservative. They keep things close to their chest early. No one wants to be the team that makes a big mistake on the biggest stage. And it isn't just a feel thing. These numbers back it up. Over the last 20 years, first half unders in the Super Bowl have hit at a 63% rate. Defense get a full 2 weeks to prepare. They study tendencies. They know what's coming. They're ready. Halftime is when adjustments are made, and that's when the game starts to open up. First half is usually a chess match. Now, matchup-wise, Milton Williams is the key piece up front. When you look at New England, it sets up perfectly for a slower game script. The Patriots, you talked about it. They've scored just 54 points on their way to the Super Bowl, the lowest ever in the modern era. Now, when Vrabel, it's simple. He's not letting Drake May do anything that could lose the game. Ball control, game manager early, and the defensive splits on both sides. New England's now 9.5 points per game for the first half. For the first half, 7th best in the league. Seattle, 7.3 points per game for the first half, best in the league. They're also a first half under team throughout the season and postseason. Then when you factor in the pace, New England 29th in pace of play, Seattle 17th, not exactly pushing up tempo. Both defenses stout early. New England likely able to make difficult for Seattle to run the ball. This sets up perfect for a slow, methodical first half. Everything points in the same direction here. Lower pace, conservative play calling, 2 elite first half defenses. I'm taking the under 22.5 for the first half, my friend.
I like it.
So college basketball. Did you do any college basketball tonight, my friend?
I did. I had Nebraska plus 10.5 versus Michigan, which hit. I didn't understand. Like, I know Michigan's a good team, but Nebraska's 20-0. They did end up dropping it at the end, but 10.5 points to the top 5 team. I get us on the road, but had to fade Michigan there. That was a hit for me. So one bet, one cash. So all good to go.
I am currently sitting. I hit Rutgers plus 15.5 earlier. They lost to Michigan State in overtime. I'm sitting on UMass plus 9.5. They're up by 5 with about 10 to play. So, that could go either way. And then I have Marquette, a home dog, at plus 2.5. And they're up 52-23 at halftime. So that one's looking kind of good. All right, so your college basketball, you're going down to your neck of the woods here.
Yes, sir. UH bounce back game tomorrow versus TCU on the road. And honestly, I mean, there's so much talk about, Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsa, Boozer. Does Houston have the best freshman in the country in Kingston Flemings? My God, that dude, he's probably one of the best guard prospects I've seen in a good while. Just dropped 41 this past weekend in the loss to Tech. Obviously, a tough loss for Houston. They played Tech 2 weeks ago. Game came right down the wire, just like that one. Expect them to bounce back tomorrow versus TCU, unranked opponent. I know Houston will be primed to play a little bit better, giving up 90 points. That's definitely not Kelvin Sampson's way. He's a defensive-minded coach. I know he didn't like that, so he's probably been ripping into those guys for the past couple of days over that one. Expect them to come out a little bit more focused on the defensive side of the ball and then handle things on the offensive end led by Kingston Fleming. So I'm going to UH 7.5 points.
I like it. My next one, I am going to Hunter Henry over 36.5 receiving yards because this number is telling a story and I like it. Seattle's defense is legit. You can make an argument that it is better than the Texans and the Broncos defenses that the Patriots have already faced. They've been absolutely elite against the run. Opponents have just a 34% success rate running against Seattle, lowest in the league. EPA is minus 0.15, the worst mark in the NFL. So they've just been elite against the run. What does that mean? I think New England isn't going to be able to lean on run. They're going to have to put the ball in Drake May's hands to try to beat Seattle in the air. And when you look at Seattle's defense, the weakness is very clear, the middle of the field. Seattle has allowed the fewest yards to opposing wide receivers this season. Corners have been locking people up all year, but against tight ends, it's a different story. They've allowed the 6th most yards to opposing tight ends this season, giving up 63.5 yards per game, 10.3 yards per catch with a 73% catch rate. And we just saw last week, Parkinson, 4 targets, 3 catches, 62 yards. Then you had Jake Tongas, 6 targets, 5 catches, 59 yards. In the playoffs, Seattle's tight ends against Seattle are averaging 5 targets, 4 receptions, and 60.5 yards per game. That's exactly the area Hunter Henry works. Now, when you factor in the number, Henry is coming off 2 awful games, and because of that, we're getting a discounted line. He went over this number 10 times this season, and yes, he's been frustrating at times, no argument there, but he's still third on the team in targets and receiving yards, and we know targets equal opportunity, and the opportunity will be there with this matchup. I see McDaniels is going to see the same thing on the tape, attack the middle of the field, stay away from the perimeter, put Drake May in rhythm early, and that's the game plan. Hunter Henry is going to be living between the numbers, so I'm taking Hunter Henry over 36.5 receiving yards, my friend.
I like it.
So this one right here. There's no line out for this one. This is an early look ahead.
Yeah, man. So Jayhawks on Saturday got a big one. There's no line out because it's still up in the air. Darren Peterson's playing. This actually isn't due with his, mysterious hamstring injury he's had all season. He actually sprained his ankle about a week and a half ago. Didn't play this past week versus K-State. But the last 2 weeks, KU's actually looked pretty good. They dropped a game to West Virginia back on the 10th, I think, and then they've won their last 4 games in pretty convincing fashion. Whooped up on Iowa State a couple weeks ago. Whooped up on K-State this past weekend without Darren Peterson. Saturday, Fog is going to be rocking. College Game Day will be out there for the morning show. I expect Darren Peterson should be playing. I mean, if he's got any type of, competitive spirit in him, I don't see how you can sit this one, especially with the matchup against AJ DeBonsa. I don't know if you've seen, but last year when they matched up in high school, I think Peterson finished with 58 points, DeBonsa with 49. No defense whatsoever played in that game. So I don't think it would be an exact replica of that, but I think it'll be, a war going on between them. But it's going to be a tough environment for those BYU boys. So I'm going with my Jayhawks on this one. Don't know what it will be. I'm assuming if Peterson plays, the problem is like 2.5, 3 points. I'll just roll with, just to be on the safe side. But I think he wins this one in the fall.
I mean, I think Kansas is going to be a bigger favorite, dude.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Kansas is going to be close to a 5-point favorite. 4.5. I think it's going to be 4.5, 5. Oh. My next one, dude, I am going to back to the well. The pride of Michigan State, and honestly, the guy that Mel Tucker should be sending a Christmas card to every effing year, Kenneth Walker III, over 27.5 receiving yards. We've seen Walker become a much bigger part of the passing game as the season has gone on. Over the last 3 games of the season, he's averaging 3 receptions, 35.3 receiving yards per game. Since the Charbonnet injury, Walker has become the clear workhorse in the backfield, and in the playoffs, the usage has become even more telling. Walker leads Seattle running backs in snaps, but more importantly in routes run. He's running routes on 28.1% of his snaps, and that matters. In the postseason, Walker is also 3rd on the team in targets, receptions, and receiving yards, averaging 39 receiving yards per game with a 14% target share. That's real involvement in the passing game, not just dump-offs. Now let's talk about the matchup. The Patriots are strong against the pass, especially on the outside. They're allowing the 6th fewest receiving yards to opposing wide receivers this season. I expect Christian Gonzalez to spend plenty of time shadowing JSN, which means Seattle is going to have to find production elsewhere. They've already used Walker in big moments. Remember that 3rd and long play late in the game? They got Water in the backfield on the final drive, extended it. New England has allowed 30.8 receiving yards per game to opposing running backs with an 82% catch rate. If you're going to move the ball on this defense, it often comes through backs in the passing game. With how good the Patriots have been against the run, it even makes more sense to get Walker involved throughout the air by Seattle. This sets up perfectly. Low number, strong recent usage, great matchup. Give me Kenneth Walker III over 20.5 receiving yards. You know what I found out about Kenneth Walker right now? He has no middle name. I was going to say Kenneth, middle name, the third. Motherfucker has no middle name, dude.
He's a free agent this year, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. You haven't heard my conspiracy theory?
What?
When you look at the analytics, everything that Seattle runs, Walker did better than Charbonnet. Every single thing. But I really think they did not give him the carries he should get because they didn't want to pay him the money in the offseason. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but now they're kind of handicapped to paying him, aren't they? Since Charbonnet tore his ACL so late.
And he's being a dog, man, dude. Like, he's getting the ball. He's doing good.
Yeah, he was one of my I didn't think there was really any legs to it, but he was one of my Chiefs hopeful offseason signings because we need to replenish the running back room. I thought he would be a nice kind of grinder guy that could also catch out of the backfield. And then Charbonnet goes down a couple weeks ago. I'm like, well, they're going to have – it might – they could potentially get outbid, but it wouldn't be by us. But they're going to have to do everything in their power to re-sign him now because he's –
They'll probably just franchise him if he tries to go elsewhere.
Yeah, probably so.
Just throw the franchise tag on him. And it's funny, like I don't like Mel Tucker, the coach from Michigan State. He was going to go to LSU because Walker had that insane season. Michigan State panicked, boosters paid him. Now he's had the thing happen with like the team, like some lady with the team and everything got fired. They can't find him. This lady's trying to sue him, or the university, someone's trying to sue him, and they literally cannot find this man to serve him the papers to go to court. They have no idea where he is. Like Mel Tucker is like literally missing.
Well, I guess he's the opposite of Sharon Moore because he was smiling at his hearing the other day.
Sharon Moore gives two shits, dude. He's just smiling around, man. Jesus. Bryce, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your schedule, coming on, talking a little college basketball and some not NBA, excuse me, NFL. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media, my friend?
Yes, you can find us at the under my screen. I need a sports pod at INISPOD. Me and three other of my bros, Cam, Chris, and another Swan, whose name is also Cam. But we'll be on every Wednesday. So tomorrow, come check us out live around 8 o'clock Central Time. Tomorrow probably be more NBA based episode. We haven't had one of those in a couple months since the season has started. And then next week we'll do our Super Bowl preview episode. But yeah, on live every Wednesday talking about NBA, NFL, hottest sports headlines, topics, giving our, unsolicited opinions and biases. So definitely a good time. And feel free to follow us, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all at the same name under the screen, man.
I am so behind the NBA, man. I am so behind.
That's exactly why we're doing the episode tomorrow. We're like, we haven't talked NBA. Chris has been keeping note. He's like, we got to chop it up about NBA. I got some stuff I need to get off my chest. I just actually went to my first NBA game this year to see Wemby versus the Rockets last week when we put off the comeback. So yeah, I definitely got to get back into my NBA bag, especially now that the NFL season is done with.
I have a funny NBA story. I'm going to tell you off air. I'm not going to tell it on air. I'm going to tell you off air. But make sure to give this man a follow at I Need a Sports Pod on social media. We'll be back next week with my boy Gino talking a little bit more Super Bowl. Until that week, sorry we started late, but you know what? Bottom of my heart, fuck StreamYard. Bryce, thanks for coming on. Best of luck and all your best, my friend.
Thank you.